Welcome back. Today, we're breaking down the top three from the Spanish Grand Prix Wellness Division: Jade Cristialdo, Dainora Dvarionaite, and Paula Domg. Who had the best physique, sharpest conditioning, and the strongest stage presence? Let's find out. Let's begin with our first competitor, Jade Cristialdo. Jade Cristialdo's glutes are undoubtedly one of her standout features, exhibiting impressive fullness and roundness. From the back pose, her glutes display noticeable size and projection, with a smooth flow into her hamstrings. While the glute tie-ins are visible, they lack a bit of sharpness compared to some of her competitors, which slightly softens her overall conditioning. In the side pose, the glutes maintain excellent projection and curvature, creating a natural and smooth transition into her quads and hamstrings. This combination highlights the overall size and shape of her lower body, which remains a key strength in her presentation. Moving to her quads, Jade showcases a strong level of fullness and thickness that perfectly complements her dominant lower body proportions. From the front pose, her quads exhibit a dramatic sweep, emphasizing the aesthetic flow of her physique and enhancing her leg dominance. The outer quads, particularly the vastus lateralis, are well developed and prominent, giving her legs a fuller and more complete look. Shifting to the side pose, the density and depth of her quads become even more apparent, balancing seamlessly with her glute projection. While Jade's quads are clearly a highlight, a touch more separation would elevate their definition and refinement to the next level. Now turning our attention to her hamstrings, Jade continues to demonstrate solid lower body balance. From the back pose, her hamstrings display good muscle thickness and size, creating a strong connection with her glutes. The hamstring glute tie-ins, while visible, could benefit from sharper conditioning to bring out more detailed separation. From the side, the fullness and depth of her hamstrings add to the flow of her lower body, enhancing her overall symmetry. While her hamstrings remain a strong point, refining their conditioning would help match the impressive development of her glutes and quads. Shifting focus to her shoulders, Jade's upper body adds a pleasing balance to her physique. Her delts are well-rounded and developed, contributing noticeable width to her frame and enhancing her V-taper. This width is particularly evident in the front pose, where her lateral delts flow smoothly into her arms, tying in seamlessly with her lean waistline. While her shoulders are a strong feature, a touch more fullness in the front delts could further enhance her upper body balance, especially when compared to her dominant lower body proportions. Now let's look at her waistline and core, which are tight, lean, and well-proportioned. Jade's midsection appears controlled and refined, creating a clear contrast with her developed lower body and capped shoulders. This balance enhances her overall aesthetics and adds to her polished presentation. While her core looks strong, sharper conditioning could bring out more visible abdominal lines, further accentuating her symmetry. Nonetheless, Jade maintains excellent core control throughout her poses, ensuring a clean and polished look on stage. Turning to her back, Jade demonstrates solid upper body width and balance. Her well-developed lats create a noticeable V-taper that enhances her proportions and adds to her overall symmetry. From the back pose, her even development is evident across both sides, showcasing a balanced and complete look. While her lower back is conditioned, adding a bit more detail and definition would further elevate the presentation of her back. Overall, Jade's back serves as a strong supporting feature, effectively complementing her standout lower body and contributing to the overall flow of her physique. When considering her symmetry, Jade's physique stands out for its excellent proportions, particularly in her lower body, where her glutes and quads flow seamlessly into one another. Her upper body provides the necessary balance, with well-rounded shoulders and a lean waistline tying everything together. While her lower body remains the highlight of her physique, further refining her hamstring and core conditioning would help achieve a more polished and balanced look. Nonetheless, Jade's proportions reflect her dedication and hard work in meeting the wellness division standards. Finally, focusing on her stage presence and posing, Jade exudes confidence and poise, allowing her to showcase her strengths effectively. Her back and side poses emphasize her impressive glute and quad development, while her transitions between poses are smooth and well-practiced. Jade's ability to command attention on stage reflects her experience, though refining certain angles and techniques could further emphasize her conditioning and separation. With her confident stage presence and minor adjustments, Jade has the potential to leave an even greater impression, presenting herself as a polished and competitive athlete. Moving on to our second competitor, Dainora Dvarionaite. Starting with her glutes, Dainora Dvarionaite showcases one of the defining features of her physique. The size, fullness, and balance of her glutes are exceptional, making them a standout element of her lower body. From the back pose, the impressive roundness of her glutes flows seamlessly into her hamstrings, creating a sharp and clear tie-in that adds to her overall polished look. Her symmetry is remarkable, with both sides displaying equal development, further enhancing her balanced presentation. Shifting to the side pose, Dainora's glutes maintain excellent projection and fullness, where the natural curve transitions effortlessly into her quads and hamstrings. This overall shape and conditioning reflect her precision and dedication to achieving the wellness division standards. Moving on to her quads, Dainora brings an impressive combination of size, sweep, and separation that enhances her lower body dominance. In the front pose, her quads showcase remarkable fullness and roundness, with clean lines that highlight both the vastus lateralis and medialis. This creates a dramatic sweep, perfectly complementing her glutes and giving her legs an aesthetic flow. From the side pose, the density and depth of her quads become even more apparent, emphasizing her well-rounded thigh muscles. This level of development adds to her overall symmetry, creating a balanced and polished look that flows seamlessly with the rest of her physique. Shifting focus to her hamstrings, Dainora's development remains consistent with the quality seen throughout her lower body. Her hamstrings are well balanced and display noticeable muscle density in her back poses, contributing depth to her lower body presentation. The hamstring glute tie-ins stand out for their sharpness and clean separation, enhancing the natural flow between muscle groups. From the side pose, the fullness and density of her hamstrings become more evident, further reinforcing the harmony and symmetry of her physique. This smooth connection between her hamstrings and glutes highlights her exceptional conditioning and overall flow. Now transitioning to her shoulders, Dainora's upper body provides excellent balance and symmetry that complements her dominant lower body. Her delts are well-rounded and capped, contributing to the width of her frame and creating a pleasing V-taper. The lateral delts in particular stand out, adding width that balances her physique and draws attention to her upper body. From the front pose, her shoulders flow naturally into her arms, creating a smooth, polished look that ties in seamlessly with her waistline. This balance ensures her upper body remains a strong complement to her impressive lower body proportions. Turning to her waistline and core, Dainora displays a lean, conditioned, and well-controlled midsection. Her core appears sculpted with visible lines that emphasize her overall symmetry and aesthetics. The narrow waist creates a striking contrast with her flaring quads and capped shoulders, accentuating the hourglass shape that is so desirable in the wellness division. Throughout her poses, Dainora maintains excellent core engagement and control, ensuring a clean, polished midsection that enhances her overall presentation. Focusing on her back, Dainora continues to showcase impressive upper body proportions. Her lats are well developed and add width to her frame, contributing to the noticeable V-taper that flows into her narrow waistline. In the back pose, her symmetry shines through, with even development on both sides creating a balanced and professional look. The lower back remains conditioned and streamlined, adding a level of refinement that completes her upper body presentation. This combination of width, detail, and balance ensures her back serves as a strong complement to the rest of her physique. Looking at her overall symmetry, Dainora's physique is a masterclass in balance and proportion. Her upper body and lower body flow seamlessly into one another, with no single muscle group overpowering the others. Her glutes, quads, and hamstrings are perfectly balanced, creating smooth transitions between each muscle group and enhancing her overall flow. This level of symmetry reflects Dainora's meticulous attention to detail and dedication to the wellness division's requirements. Finally, when assessing her stage presence and posing, Dainora commands attention with her confident and poised presentation. She moves effortlessly through her poses, showcasing her strengths with fluidity and grace. Her back and side poses effectively emphasize her standout features, including her glutes, quads, and impressive symmetry. Dainora's ability to connect with the judges, combined with her polished posing, highlights her experience and professionalism. She exudes confidence on stage, ensuring her presentation leaves a lasting impression and solidifies her as a standout competitor. Finally, we turn to our third competitor, Paula Domg, starting with her glutes. Paula Domg showcases one of the most impressive aspects of her physique. The size, roundness, and exceptional balance of her glutes are immediately noticeable, particularly in both the back and side poses. From the back, her glutes create a prominent curve that flows seamlessly into her hamstrings, highlighting her symmetry and polished development. The sharp and clean tie-ins between her glutes and hamstrings add a clear separation while maintaining smooth transitions between muscle groups. When viewed from the side, Paula's glutes project beautifully, emphasizing the lower curves and enhancing the flow into her posterior chain, a key criterion in the wellness division. Moving on to her quads, Paula's thigh development reflects exceptional size, definition, and separation. In the front pose, her quads display a dramatic sweep that adds to the balance of her lower body and highlights her dominance in this area. The muscle fullness is impressive without compromising symmetry, as both legs mirror each other perfectly. The clean separation between the vastus lateralis and medialis accentuates the different portions of her quads, showcasing her attention to detail. Shifting to the side pose, Paula's quads maintain their density and roundness, creating a smooth flow that perfectly complements her glutes and hamstrings. Transitioning to her hamstrings, Paula's development continues to stand out with a seamless connection to her glutes, creating a highly refined glute-hamstring tie-in. This level of detail is especially evident in her back poses, where the visible depth and muscle density of her hamstrings add impressive dimension to her lower body. In her side poses, the fullness and flow of her hamstrings shine through, reinforcing the balance and dominance of her posterior chain. Paula's ability to maintain sharp muscle lines while retaining fullness speaks to the consistency of her overall conditioning. Turning to her shoulders, Paula's upper body complements her lower body beautifully. Her delts are well developed and display great roundness, particularly in the front pose, where they appear capped and polished. The lateral delts stand out, adding width to her frame and enhancing her V-taper. This balance between her shoulders and lower body ensures Paula's proportions remain symmetrical and aesthetically pleasing. Viewed from any angle, her shoulders flow smoothly into her arms and upper back, contributing to the overall harmony of her physique. Focusing next on her waistline and core, Paula's midsection is tight, lean, and well sculpted, perfectly enhancing her hourglass shape. In her front pose, the narrowness of her waistline creates a striking contrast with her flaring quads and capped shoulders, emphasizing her natural proportions. The visible lines and toned appearance of her core highlight her conditioning and add to her overall polished look. Throughout her poses, Paula maintains excellent control of her midsection, ensuring her core engagement enhances the flow of her physique on stage. Now moving to her back, Paula continues to impress with the width, detail, and balance of her upper body. Her well-developed lats create a noticeable V-taper, which enhances the flow from her shoulders to her narrow waistline. In the back poses, Paula's upper back displays width and depth, while her lower back remains conditioned and streamlined, adding to the refined quality of her presentation. The symmetry between her lats and shoulders contributes to a strong and flowing upper body structure that complements her dominant lower body perfectly. When considering her overall symmetry, Paula's physique achieves exceptional balance and proportion. Her upper body and lower body flow seamlessly into one another, with smooth transitions between all major muscle groups. From her shoulders to her waistline, and from her glutes to her quads, every area of her physique is well developed without appearing overpowered. This level of harmony highlights Paula's meticulous attention to detail and dedication to achieving a complete and well-rounded presentation. Finally, assessing her stage presence and posing, Paula brings a confident and engaging energy to the stage. Her ability to move fluidly through her poses ensures she presents her strengths, particularly her glutes, quads, and overall symmetry, effectively and deliberately. Paula's polished transitions allow her to highlight each muscle group without disrupting the flow of her routine. Her connection with the judges and audience is seamless as she maintains strong eye contact and delivers her presentation with poise and grace. This level of professionalism and stage awareness makes Paula a commanding presence on stage, solidifying her as a standout competitor. Final assessment. Kicking things off with our first competitor, Jade Cristialdo, we see an athlete with incredible glute fullness and overall muscle mass. Her lower body is undeniably strong, with well-developed quads that create an impressive sweep. While her glutes are full and flow nicely into her hamstrings, the tie-ins could be a bit sharper to maximize separation and conditioning. Her stage presence is confident, and she knows how to highlight her strengths, but a bit more refinement in her posing and midsection conditioning would elevate her overall balance. Final score, 8.510. Moving on to our second competitor, Dainora Dvarionaite, who is a true standout. Her glutes are nothing short of exceptional, full, round, and deeply separated from the hamstrings. The level of sharpness and conditioning she brings is unmatched, making her posterior chain one of the strongest in this lineup. Her quads are beautifully shaped, flowing seamlessly into her hamstrings, creating an overall balanced and symmetrical lower body. Not to mention, her stage presence is poised, polished, and effortless. She not only brings size, but also the detail and refinement needed to dominate this division. Final score, 9.510. Finally, we turn to our third competitor, Paula Domg, whose glutes are undeniably impressive, showcasing fantastic fullness and roundness. Her overall symmetry is strong, and she carries great balance between her upper and lower body. However, compared to the other competitors, her glute hamstring tie-ins appear softer, making her conditioning slightly less pronounced. While she has an engaging stage presence and a well-developed physique, a bit more sharpness and separation would push her to an even higher level. Final score, 7.510. And now, the winner, with the highest score of 9.510, the standout competitor today is Dainora Dvarionaite. Her combination of glute development, quad symmetry, sharp conditioning, and stage presence puts her at the top. She brings the complete package, making her the strongest overall. But of course, this is just my judgment. The real winner has already been decided on stage. Now, I want to hear from you. Who do you think should take the crown? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.